Right, Rob Manley, how are you? You
well? Good. Keeping
Good
well
stuff.
during this time, unfortunately.
That's great. One thing we're lucky with is the weather, though, to be fair, aren't we?
Big time, big
time. How's the training and stuff going for you? You're doing Zoom with Longford and that. How's that going?
Yeah, we have a Zoom session. It was Mondays and Thursdays, but it's been switched now to Tuesdays and Saturday mornings, which is great at the minute. Stephen Marr, who used to play with St. Pat's, he's been brilliant, to be fair to him. He's put on some really good sessions for us, and it's keeping us ticking over, to be fair. On top of that, like, I'm getting out with me two brothers as well, to play a bit of football and that, which is great. So I can't complain, really.
Yeah, your two brothers play in the League of Ireland as well, don't they?
My younger brother Joe, he plays with Longford with me, and then I have an older brother who is playing with Home Farm in the Leinster Senior League.
Yeah, so that keeps things competitive, does it?
Yeah, it keeps it very competitive, to be fair. We put on some good sessions.
Now, you started off at UCD, obviously, like you're in college there and that, but one thing that interests me, and I think a lot of people as well, is what's the differences at UCD in terms of the setup, I suppose, compared to clubs in general?
Well, one thing is UCD, like, they own everything. Everything is there for them. Like, they own their own training grounds, their own pitches. Like, there's no, like, the situation at Longford. We train in Dublin, so we don't actually own the pitch. So we have to rent out the pitch, and that's obviously a plus for UCD, having their own facilities to work with. And the pitch is obviously immaculate because no other team is really playing on it, or there's nothing really stopping them from working on it too much.
Yeah,
they can train on it constantly on their own pitch if they want to, and that's pretty much it. Like, a lot, they have everything there at their disposal.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I was actually thinking the other day, the way things are with the pandemic and that, it probably doesn't hamper UCD as much as those other clubs or teams, in fairness, does it, in all honesty?
Yeah, because they wouldn't get many fans, to be fair to them. Obviously, when they got promoted, like, they would have got a good few, but on a regular match day, they probably wouldn't be getting that many fans anyway. So when you take it as that, like, they wouldn't budget for that. So it probably doesn't affect them too much now.
Yeah, what kind of players did you play with at UCD? Are there players that have moved on to other League of Ireland clubs? Did you play with the likes of Ferrugia and players of that? Or?
Ferrugia was still in the 19s when I was there. Gary O'Neill was there.
Yeah.
Yo-Yo was still in the 19s at the time. Who else was there? God. Georgie Kelly, he moved up to Dundalk. And I'm trying to think. Maxi Kigoon was there. Josh Collins, who was still at UCD.
Yeah.
It was a good bunch of them, great players. And Simon Power as well, he was there.
Yeah.
He was there as well. So they had some unbelievable players, unbelievable talent in that years that I was there.
Yeah. I always think to myself as well that I know it's hard to do, etc. But could you imagine UCD could somehow keep the same bunch of players for 2 seasons?
It'd be unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Honestly, like, some teams there, you think to yourself they could be nearly challenging for the Premier Division. Not like Dundalk and Rovers, but they could be in that tier under there, like, you know.
100%. If they're able to keep their players. Because it's so structured, the way the 19s and 17s play. It's the same as the first team, so it's like academy all the way up nearly, and they ingrain it into you. So when you come into the first team, it's easy to slot right in. Being honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the cup final last year between Dundalk and Shamrock Rovers, I'm sure there was 7 or 8 former UCD players playing that cup final. Like,
that says it all. Yeah. And it's been like that for a long time, really. Like, so. It's been like that for a while. Most of the Dundalk team, obviously, a lot of them have come from UCD. Even the lads who've gone abroad, like Dave McMillan and Andy Boyle and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You went on to Bowes then after that. How did you find that? I think you were only there for a few months in the end, were you?
Yeah, I was only there for till the halfway. until the mid-season break, really, until the transfer window was open. To be honest with you, I found it very tough. It wasn't like it is now. The squad was a lot older when I went in. And coming from UCD going into Bows is always going to be difficult. Like the training we did an extra 2 days of training, which was great, obviously, but it is tough when you're coming into having not trained at all, really, not too much with UCD, and then you're going in from a long off season into so much training with Bows. It was a lot more intense as well, and a lot more pressure, obviously, with the fans on top of you as well. So there was all those types of things, and it just wasn't the right time for me.
Yeah, and then you obviously moved on to Drogheda then in the window, and you were there for a couple of months as well. How did you find the Drogheda experience compared to the Bohemians experience, let's say?
Keith Long, the Drogheda experience, it was similar as well. Like they were trying to get promoted, and because they were so far into the season, the starting 11 was, I don't want to say it was picked, but yeah, it was. Tim Clancy knew who his best 11 were, and that's how it was. And when it came down to it, like I just wasn't getting to as many minutes as I would have hoped when I was going there. But I have no, like, I'd probably do the same if I was in Tim Clancy's shoes. You know what I mean?
I understand what you mean. They probably had. I think he tend to play one man up front.
Yeah.
And obviously Chris Lyons there, and he did well. It's difficult just to change it up, isn't it?
Yeah, like I probably shouldn't have expected. I was expecting to play a lot more, and just didn't. I shouldn't have, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I suppose players generally, like any player, wants to get out of the pitch.
I know.
So there's always that side of it for a player. But at the same time, could you imagine if, different circumstances, and it could have been you yourself and Lyons could have been up front, which would have been an interesting pair.
It would have big and small and tall. So it would have been a good one. And it was something like Chris Lyons is a great player. Like obviously you want to play with the best. So
yeah, exactly. So obviously then you moved on to Cabinteely, which in 2019, and probably a lot of people didn't know an awful lot about you as such. You know what I mean? They did by the end of the season, but Cabinteely interests me as well because I wonder, is their structure? Do you find the structure, because they're kind of a new club? Did you find the structure a little bit similar to UCD in a sense? Because I know they have a lot of youth players coming through the ranks, and it's almost like an academy there in that sense as well. And obviously, Pat Devlin, who's around a long, long time. He's been brilliant in the League of Ireland. He's fantastic at Bray. Him obviously manager, but also the fact that he kind of controlled Cabinteely, didn't he, or still does in a sense. He's director as well, isn't he?
Still, yeah. It was just absolutely brilliant, to be honest. Just what I needed. Going into a dressing room again, full of players my own age, and like we got on really well. There was a great atmosphere in the dressing room. Pat was brilliant to me, and same with Graham O'Hanlon and Eddie Gormley and all the boys down there, all this coaching staff. They were all brilliant, and it's really just what I needed, like just to take me mind, because I was sitting on the bench for so long with the two, even with UCD, Bows and Drogheda. It was just exactly what I needed.
And what like you ended up getting 17 goals last season. Were you voted player of the year as well, actually?
Yes, I was.
You were player of the year as well, and obviously team of the year and all that kind of stuff. How did it come about for you in your head mentally? How did you, I don't know, find form in yourself throughout the season? Like, was it simply just confidence playing?
That was definitely.
Was it a development? You know what I mean?
Definitely. One of the things I would have put it down to was I started college that year in TUD, and during the off season, which previously in the off season I wouldn't have really trained at all. I would have really just been working. But this off season I was playing matches with the college all the time. We were playing every week, really, leading up to pre-season with Cabinteely. So I came into pre-season flying fit, and I guess I just took it from there, really. As well, I'd obviously grown. Like I was a bit older then, maybe coming into that season, and feeling a lot better about myself once the season got going.
Yeah, you obviously linked up very well with a lot of the players. How did you find playing with Kieran Marty Waters?
Marty's brilliant. He's a gem of the league. Loved playing with him. he was just took me under his wing from day one, and he just kept saying to me like, I'll find you, I'll find you. So anytime he had the ball, like, and I was trying to make a run, he'd try and find me, and it's like, that's how I got a lot of my goals, to be fair. Like,
Really?
man, yeah, 100%.
From him,
Yeah. Got a lot of assists to me.
But then, obviously, then last season with Cabinteely, ironically you beat Longford in the playoffs and penalties. Did you get to win a penalty actually?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a strange one then when you move to Longford, isn't it? The fans
It was.
probably a bit.
I know. I'd say a few people were scratching their heads.
But yeah, I mean, obviously you came through the play. I think the playoffs are a little bit harsh actually for teams in the first division. Anyway, I mean, you have to come through 3 matches to try and get promoted, and obviously the team, the Premier, has 1 game. Well, sorry, they've 1 tie basically. You know what I mean? You obviously you played Drogheda. You drew at home. I think you missed the second match actually against Drogheda. Were you injured?
Missed the second match, yeah. Broke my hand that week of the game, and the doctors ruled me out. And unfortunately, that's how it happened. Yeah,
it was obviously disappointing to lose the second leg the way it happened. And I suppose frustrating when you're on the sideline as well.
Very frustrating. After putting in all the effort that season, and especially like we had such a great chance going up there. I think it was 1-1 in the first leg.
It was, yeah.
And the momentum really was with us, I thought, as well, after beating Longford. So it was just really unfortunate.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It was just, I suppose it was a bad day, because I wouldn't say there's an awful lot between Longford and Drogheda, if I'm honest with you.
No.
At all. Like, it's just one of those things where Drogheda are the type of team that sometimes they can come out of the blocks and they just
blow you away nearly.
Blow you away. I've seen it this season against UCD. I was down there. They're 4-0 up after 17 minutes. Like, you know, they can do that. They're a strange team that way. But obviously then you moved to Longford, and how did that come about?
Well, Darrell got in touch with me, and he was just building a great squad. He'd signed everyone back, pretty much the whole team back. And I did think they were probably the best team in the 2019 season.
Yeah.
So it's something that interested me. And then obviously my brother was playing there, so he spoke great things about the club and how it was run and how training is done. And it was just something that did interest me, and I just thought it was time to move on from Cabinteely and move up. And Darrell was hoping, like, Darrell was confident we could win the league. We would win the league if he got the squad that he wanted. And he said to me that I'd play an important part in that, so it was easy to join.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. And obviously the start of the season as well, you only played 2 games in the end as well. You beat Shamrock Rovers B, you scored your first goal for the club. What was that like, actually scoring the first goal?
That was brilliant, because to be honest with you, I hadn't scored in the pre-season games. So
would that worry you then if you hadn't scored in the pre-season games?
Not really, but it plays on you. You start to think that maybe the fans are gonna have a go at you, have a pop and all. So just when you get your first goal, it's just such a relief.
I always think it's difficult for a striker in particular to a new club. You get away with that longer for some reason as a midfielder or defender, but I don't know what it is, but strikers do get picked on and just
big time, big time.
It's a killer of a position in that sense, like, you know what I mean? And like, there was only 2 games gone really, at the end of the day as well. You had a great win up in Drogheda though, actually. It was
a hard fought win.
Yeah.
It was a very scrappy game. Two great teams, to be fair to them. I know, like, but it wasn't when we won, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season, I know, etc. But you kind of look at that game, and from a neutral perspective, you do fancy Drogheda and Longford to be. I wouldn't rule out Cabinteely either, by the way. And there's a few other teams, don't get me wrong, but I just would have fancied Drogheda and Longford personally, from my point of view, from the start of the season. Because you were talking how Longford kept their squad together, and then they added 1 or 2, and Drogheda pretty much done the same thing. And you think to yourself, surely, in that case, they can only be stronger, those 2 teams. You know what I mean? But did you get any other offers actually when you went to Longford? Like, were there any other offers or?
There was offers from full-time teams, but obviously my situation here was I started university, so I was just something I really want to get done.
Yeah.
And because just because I had entered in it late. Only started when I was 21, so it's something I really want to get done, and that's how it was.
That's the good thing about the League of Ireland, though. You can do that as well.
Yeah.
I was talking to David Hurley from Cove Ramblers, and something similar with him on that side as well. And if you're young as well, as you say, there's always an opportunity later on, but you could get promoted with Longford. You know, there's different things that can happen, which is great as well. But yeah, your first goal for Longford is obviously against Rovers as well. How would you describe yourself as a player for people who are watching who may not have seen you play?
God, Jesus, how do you do that?
I know,
God, I'd like to think that, jeez, I know where the goal is anyway.
Yeah.
I can score a bit fast and strong.
Do you prefer, I know you've generally played on your own up top, but would you prefer generally to have a partner, or do you think you thrive better on your own? Or
doesn't bother me. Obviously, sometimes you can be isolated up there by yourself, and it does help to have a second striker with you.
Yeah.
But like as I said, doesn't really bother me either or.
Yeah, it kind of depends who you've coming from midfield and that as well. And all Longford have Devlin likes a few driving runs from midfield, doesn't he?
We have some great players in Devlin, Dean Byrne,
Sam.
even Dean Zamber. Like, they can get up and they can add into the attack.
Yeah, it's strange because I've talked to a few players before, and some strikers, believe it or not, they prefer playing their own because they feel like another striker kind of gets in the way a little bit. But that depends, I suppose, on the telepathic kind of thing you have with another player as well, doesn't it? Like in the combination play and that. So it's probably more to that than that. Who would be your idols growing up as a footballer?
Idols growing up, I was a big fan of Diego Costa when he was with Atletico Madrid, and then Chelsea as well. Obviously in the League of Ireland, Jason Byrne.
Jason Byrne, yeah.
I live up the road from Talca Park, so I'd go and watch him, and then when he joined the Bows, we went down to a few Bows matches as well just to watch him. I just thought he was brilliant.
And funnily enough, Pat Devlin had him at Bray for a good few years as well.
Yeah, he had him at Bray, and
did he ever speak to you about him? Or?
He did, obviously all the time, and when Jason Byrne was at UCD, I was in the 19s, so when I got to train with him a few times, it was just, I was buzzing. And then when even Darragh Doyle brought him up to Longford to do a striker session with a few of the boys, and that was unbelievable. That was brilliant.
Yeah, I actually thought he was an excellent player. I think he was, even with Ireland, I think he was unlucky not to get more caps. I think the problem was we had very good strikers at the time in the Irish squad.
Yeah.
If it was now, for example, and he was around his prime, I think you might fancy him to get a few more caps, because I don't think the level of striker at international level is, we had Robbie Keane basically at that time, you know. So, no, and obviously him being his cousin as well, actually. As well.
I know, unbelievable.
But no, he was a great striker. Him, I think, if I used to go back, I'd say him and Glenn Crowe probably my favourite league strikers. And the two of them are brilliant, like, to be honest with you. You've been the kind of biggest influences on your career to date?
Today, definitely Pat Devlin. I have to put it down to him. Yeah. Pat Devlin, Graham O'Hanlon as well at Cabinteely, like, just for the first time probably. They just would always take us aside, and we'd be doing striking sessions, like just constantly finishing with them. Something that is not really done with other teams, which is unusual. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Strikers are usually left to their own devices at the end of a session. But with Cabinteely, to be fair to them, we were always doing cross and finishing, and then even Pat Devlin would take us to the side the odd time and just do finishing, just one-on-ones with the keeper and that.
Left foot, right foot, that kind of thing.
Yeah, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, and just something no other club really does.
And it's something so simple, though, isn't it?
I know, something so simple, and it would obviously help a lot more, like, but it's just something that just doesn't really get done for some reason.
Very strange, yeah, it is strange. Who's the best player you've played with in your career so far?
Best player, I'd have to say probably Gary O'Neill. I just thought he was unbelievable. Like, he set the tempo for every game. Just so calm on the ball, and he just keeps the ball under control all the time. Like, you always felt safe for him in midfield.
Yeah, it just shows how strong that Shamrock Rovers midfield is, because he's you wouldn't say he's a regular in the team. He does play games, but God, their midfield has some strength in that midfield. I mean, the players on the bench will walk on every other team in the league. It's unbelievable. Like,
I know. There's some amount to play midfielders as well. Like, that's what I mean.
It's unreal. It's unreal. Who's the best player you played against up to date?
Best player I played against. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. Probably Luke McNally off Drogheda.
Yeah.
I always found it so tough against him. I remember he was able to just out jump me all the time for the headers, for some headers.
Did he do this? I was speaking to Chris Lyons the other day, and Chris Lyons said that even in training, right, that Luke used to stand on his toes all the time. Did he do that to you?
He didn't do it to me, to be fair. No? But we did. We got close sometimes, and it was good. We always had a good battle, to be fair, against him. It's always a good battle. Yeah,
I've seen him actually play a few games with Pats early on in the season, and he looks like a player, honestly. He looks like
he is.
He's pacey as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very fast. He can jump. He's my worst nightmare.
Right, so I tell you what, hang on, Connor Keeley, hang on, I have to get this question now, sorry. Yeah, apparently Sean Fitzpatrick has better banter than you. According to Connor Keeley, like
Fathead has better banter than me. Oh my God. Not a chance. Mega mine.
Yeah.
No, not a chance. That Fitzy fella.
Anyway, I'll tell you what, we'll finish up with a few teammate questions. So Longford Town, who's the most skillful in training?
Most skillful in training, Dean Bourne, hands down.
Hands down, really?
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, so skillful.
Yeah,
great drill. Oh yeah, very good, good. Very impressed with him, I was.
Really, yeah. Actually, that's a good point. Actually, is there players that because you would have played Longford last season, is there players that have surprised you more in training than they did when you came up against them, let's say, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Players such as Durban, like he works so hard. He's always finishing. He always finishes first in the fitness tests. Just someone like you can just tell by him. He just works his socks off. Or like he loves playing with a Longford, and that's pretty much it. Like just the fittest man alive.
Who's I was going to say who's the hardest trainer? Would you go with him? Yeah.
Yeah, it would be him. Definitely.
Who thinks they're the hard man in the squad?
Hard man of the squad.
Thinks they are. Not, they mightn't be, but they might think they are, you know?
For this one, that's a tough one. I'd have to go with Sam Verdon. Sam Verdon. Always showing his way about. That's how he is.
Right.
He's the hard man.
Who's the comedian in the dressing room?
Comedian Joe Gorman. He's very funny. Very funny, to be fair.
Right, where are we on today? Who's the moaniest player?
Sam Verdon again.
Well,
oh my God, never heard a man moan so much in my life.
What kind of things would he moan about? Is this in training, or if he doesn't get a pass, or
training, matches?
Yeah.
On the buses constantly, just anything you can think of.
Yeah. No matter what level you play at, though, there's always one player in the group that's just a moan every time they don't get the ball or something like that. And you just look at them and you go, you nearly wouldn't give them the ball, though.
I know.
For that reason. Who's the most vain? Who can't get out of the mirror, basically?
Can't get out of the mirror. Oh. I think there was a few boys. Let me think. Probably Lee Stacey.
Really? Yeah.
There's the old fanny split going at the minute, and he had a little Ronnie there not so long ago during quarantine. We were doing the Zoom sessions. He was looking in the camera all the time.
You're serious, yeah? He must be one of the oldest in the squad, actually. Yeah, he would be, wouldn't he? Yeah.
Him, Sambre. Who else? Yeah, we have a pretty young squad, to be fair to us. So.
Yeah. Who's the best dresser in the squad?
Best dresser. We went on a night out, and I had probably. Who else? Trying to think. Probably Luke Dennison. The goalkeeper, the other goalkeeper on the team.
Yeah.
He's a good dresser, to be fair to him, from the States.
Yeah, who'd be the worst dresser? Would you say there's a few contenders here?
Worst dresser, probably A. Devlin.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff would he wear?
Yeah.
And what would he wear? Yeah.
God. Trying to think. He just wears Longford jersey if he could, man. He do it.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, he would. He wears Longford jersey if he could.
Does he live in Longford, actually?
He lives in Longford. He's the only boy
probably
from
walking
Longford.
down the town wearing a Longford jersey and shorts every day now, you know.
100%.
Now, you kind of mentioned a night out there. Would you have a few dancers in the squad, or who'd be the...
Eric Abulu, probably. Yeah, he loves a boogie, he does. Eric. Who else? Yeah, God. Luke Dennison is another man. Yeah, he loves it. He loves the dance, he does.
Yeah. Any dodgy dancers now?
Any dodgy dancers? Probably the Adam Evans and Joe Gorman.
Is this after a few beers now?
Like, a couple of beers, yeah, and they're gone.
They're great dancers after a few beers, you know yourself. Once it's not videoed. Now, Rob, yeah, that's brilliant. So that's it, basically. So thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Best of luck. Hopefully the season starts soon enough. You know yourself.
Yeah, big time.
Great stuff. Great crack. Cheers, man.
Thanks, Keith. See you.
Thanks. See you later. Thank you. Bye.